SEMA.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are pleased to arise to sing the national anthem.
Singing national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya.
Singing national anthem of Croatia, Lijepa Nasa Domovino.
Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, created by Rector of Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, Bapak Dr. H.M. Nasrullah Yusuf, SE MBA.
Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita. Tempatnya mahasiswa meraih cita, berjuang dan belajar, menimba ilmu. Mahasiswa penerus cita-cita merdeka, cerdas dan terapi, berakhlak mulia. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita. Belajarlah mahasiswa, menempa diri, menjadi generasi tangguh, beriman takwa, membangun meraih Indonesia maju, ikhlas berbakti padamu negeri. Sayangilah ayah ibu yang tercinta, mohon panjatkan doa akan keberkahannya. Hormatilah dosen-dosen pendidik bangsa, agar menjadi insan yang berguna. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, alma mater tercinta, junjungan kita.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are pleased to sit. The Honorable Assistant Professor, Faculty of Political Sciences of the University of Zagreb, Croatia, Mr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D.
The Honorable, the expert of local politics and government in Lampung Province, Dr. Arida Mastuti, M.A.
The Honorable, the Vice Rector of Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, Bapak Dr. Haji Mahathir Muhammad, SMM, and all the Society of Academicians of Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, and all beloved participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tambipun. All praises due to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the world, the beneficent, the merciful, and the Master of the Judgment Day, who knock our heart to come to the International Guest Lecture, the development of education, economy, and technology in a post-pandemic era at Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, November 17, 2022.
Salawat and salam may always be upon our adoration and shining model, namely Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon all of his families, companions, and followers who has brought us to this day, day of knowledge, development, and modernization. Let's open this event by saying Basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Traditional dance performance by Teknokrat Ethnic Dance Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Manjau Tayuhan Dance. and gentlemen, please give a round big applause to the Teknokrat Ethnic Dance Movement. And we would like to invite Mr. Robert and then Ibu Ari and then Bapak Mahathir to take a picture together with the dancer.
Address by the Vice Rector of Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. To Bapak Haji Mahathir Muhammad SAMM, you are please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Tabib pun,
Ya pun.
to the honorable, our mentor, our college, and also my beloved brother, because actually you are just a lot younger than your age. Please welcome Assistant Professor of Faculty and Political Sciences, University of Zagreb, Mr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D. Give applause for him. Really happy meeting you, my beloved brother. And also, my beloved, I call her already like just my mother. Ibu Dr. Ari Damasuci, she is an expert in social and political science from Lampung University. Nice, really happy meeting you, Ibu Ari. And also, of course, Bapak Mr. Sulistyo, MA, also an expert on social and political science from Lampung University. Welcome to Universitas Indonesia. And of course, my beloved students of Universitas Indonesia, give applause for all of us. In this really nice occasions, we will have an international guest lecturer that we're going to discuss about the development of educations, economy, and technology in post-pandemic era. As the speaker, as I told you before, he is the assistant professor from the Faculty of Political Sciences of the University of Zagreb. University of Zagreb is from Croatia, and this is one of the oldest university in Europe, and also the oldest university in Zagreb, in Croatia. And this is the third time for Robert Mikac to come here, and really happy to meet you again. Give applause for him. So this lecture has been part of our international lecture series in this 2022. that we have invited numerous experts from our partners universities. We hold it on these visiting lecturers offline and online, especially from the universities from USA, Germany, Australia, Japan, India, Taiwan, Philippines, and Malaysia, to give us, all of our students, an online lectures. And of course, this is our blessings that we can have our offline guest lecturers with Mr. Robert Mikac. Mr. Robert Mikac will tell us not only about the conditions after pandemic era in going on in economic, maybe a little bit about politics, and of course in education and technology. These last 3 years, which is relatively short period of time, societies have been hit by a global shocks, starting from COVID-19 pandemic, a war in Europe, and also a cost of living crisis. These conditions lead to the very rapid increase of energy and food prices, high inflations, learning loss in educations, and also significant slowdown in economic growth. But beside of these challenges, of course, there are lots of others opportunities, especially in educations. By this pandemic era, it forces us, especially students, especially again in Lampung, to use the technology for our educations. And I have to say in these occasions that Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia already using online blended learning, and also using technology in the education itself. We are trying to not only teaching using technology, the latest technology that we are using, in our education's process is we're using metaverse in the educations. So we're using metaverse not only in education itself, we teach our students how to make the games in educations using metaverse. And also we are teaching not only the students of our campus, but we are also coming to the schools, part of the schools in Lampung, to teach also the students of schools to use the metaverse, robotics, and other technologies in educations, to the teachers and also to the students itself. So this is actually an opportunities that we have to grab fast, especially for the students itself, that how we can use the technology not only for the social media, but how can we use the technology in enhancing, improving, in a faster, more rapid time that we can learn. Example, right now, that actually students can have the opportunities to be smarter than the lecturers itself. In my era, maybe in Robert's era also, especially Bu Ari, we don't have that kind of technology. We don't have that kind of internet, especially in Indonesia, and especially again in Lampung. That we can access a lot of informations. Right now, we can access a lot of information. But the challenge is, how can we use the informations and how can we use the technology to gain the knowledge itself? The students right now can learn a lot from professors around the world. Even we can learn from University of Zagreb itself. You can just type it in the YouTube, and then you can learn technologies or other sciences from a lot of other lecturers from around the world. So it means that actually we can gain the knowledge itself faster. And by this pandemic also forces us to use the technology that we can have the visiting lecturers that we are having right now, that using the technology also. We're using Zoom and Google so we can interact with the lecturers, the educators around the world faster from anywhere we are. So, by this international guest lecture, we believe that international collaborations and partnership is a great solution to overcome global issues we face today. We should keep optimistic to face the challenges, rise together, and also recover stronger. Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia has continuously grown and achieved notable improvement. Now we are ranked 10th for Asia's best private university in applied higher education's rank. Give applause for us. We also become the second best university for impact ranking in Webometrics 2022. And the last but not least, Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia has been listed as top 50 Indonesia university with highly productive research activities based on AD Scientific Index 2023. Finally, I should stress once again that we need to collaborate to help each other and be resilient to face these big challenges we are fighting today. I also extend my gratitude, and I am very honored once again be with Mr. Robert Mikac and all the audience here to actively contribute and have a fruitful discussions in international guest lecture by the theme, the development of educations, economy, and technology in post-pandemic era. Thank you very much, and have a great lecture. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to Bapak Dr. Haji Mahathir Mohamad SCAMM.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we will proceed to the next event, which is our main event, the International Guest Lecture, the Development of Education, Economy and Technology in the Post-Pandemic Era at Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, which will be delivered by our speaker from University of Zagreb, Mr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D., and will be moderated by the Vice Dean 3 of Faculty of Arts and Education, Mr. Fitratullah, SSMA. So, to Mr. Peter and also Mr. Robert, you all please.
Okay. Quite incredible in this afternoon, yeah? Good afternoon, everyone. Let me ask you a little bit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabipun. Well, Dr. Robert Tabipun is always our welcoming yell, or we say that is how we greet people in Lampung. So people will answer with ya pun. So today, everyone, the Honorable Vice Rectors of Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, Dr. Haji Mahathir Mohamad, and all of the academic senates who are actually come to this event. I'm quite nervous because today we are having such a great person who's going to be our lectures. Yes, is here with us, none other, 3 times already. So this is the 3rd time, it's not the first, not the second. This is the 3rd time for Dr. Robert Mikac here in Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. Please give a round of applause for Dr. Robert Mikac. That's the reason why actually our rector just now called him a brother because it's not the first time, the second time, it's the third time. So we are actually very glad to meet you again. Okay. So before we begin, I would like to read a little bit about his bio because it is actually a job on me today. So his name is Dr. Robert Mikac. He is an assistant professor from Faculty of Political Science of the University of Zagreb, Croatia. Dr. Robert Mikac is a versatile person with a very rich practical and theoretical experience from various structures of the security sectors of the Republic of Croatia. During his career, he worked on various duties in Croatia and abroad from operative over tactical to strategic level. During his career, he served in armed forces of the Republic of Croatia and NATO ISAF, mission in Afghanistan, was the head of State Center 112, worked as an independent police inspector within the Ministry of the Interior, and spent 4 years as commander of civil protections of the Republic of Croatia and nation point of contact for CIP. Currently, he is an assistant professor at the Faculty of Political Science of the University of Zagreb, the ex-head of military studies, military leadership and management, and the members of the Homeland Security Councils of the Presidents of the Republic of Croatia. He is the author of 3 books and more than 30 scientific articles. A great thing. Give it up for Dr. Robert Mikac. And today, we're going to split this session into 2. First, we're going to listen to lectures from Dr. Robert Mikac, and then the second sessions will be a Q&A sessions where I'm going to invite all the students, lecturers, and all academics who are actually attend these meetings to give questions and having a fruitful discussions with Dr. Robert Mikac. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time before it begins, please give a big applause for Dr. Robert Mikac. You are please.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Perfect. Okay. Good day once again. Thank you very much for very welcome to having me here. It is my 3rd time. You already heard that. It is my 3rd time to be here. So it is my pleasure to return back. I was first time here in 2018, and it was great. And then once again, I want to return back, and it was happened year after that. It was 2009, and once again, it was super great. After that, we had the COVID, and this year it was once again opportunity to come to Indonesia, to be here, and once again, it is great opportunity, and thank you very much to having me here to be today with you. Today it is my great pleasure to be with you to discuss some of the topics, some of the what is important, and mainly I will focus on what is happening in the European Union, and we will have the connection between Indonesia and European Union, what is the similarities, what is the differences, and okay. And right now, it is also my pleasure to be here, and because of that, it is responsible Professor Ari Darmastuti from UNILA University. Thank you very much, Ari, for that. Also, my dear friend, Professor Tio, also from UNILA. We have great cooperation between University of UNILA and my university, and also with University of Teknokrat Indonesia. And I'm looking forward that we expand this cooperation in the future on the higher level. Today, my presentation will be development of education, economy, and technology in post-pandemic era. I will give you European context, and I will not have so long presentation just to allow us enough time for the question and answer part. So, I will please who have the possibility to change the slide to go to the next slide. And of course, I want to thank to your university, your rector, your vice rectors, your dean, your vice deans, your teachers, and all of your students who are right now present and to have possibility to be with you. With that, I just learned a few Bahasa words, Selamat Sang, Nama saya Robert, Apa kabar, and these kind of things. But I think so that in the future I will learn additional words and to have possibility to have basic conversation on Bahasa. Next slide, please. I want to very shortly show you where is my country. It is in the middle of the Europe. We are not so large country. We have just 4 million inhabitants, but most of the countries in Europe are pretty much small country. We are full member of the European Union and also full member of the NATO alliance. From the 1st of January next year, we will be also full member of the Schengen area. And from also 1st of January next year, the official currency in my country, it will be euro. So for everybody who will travel to my country, it will be much, much easier because we will not have any border and joint European currency, euro, it will be also the official currency in my country. The next slide, please. Probably, if you look the Game of Thrones series, you probably know that part of that Game of Thrones series is filmed inside of the Dubrovnik. And Dubrovnik, it is pretty much old city. During the Middle Ages, it was city-state. For example, Dubrovnik have a lot of history, and one of the great point of Dubrovnik, that Dubrovnik was the first city-state or first state who recognized United States like a country. That means that we are pretty much older than United States itself. Next slide, please. You probably know that Croatia is very famous regarding the soccer or regarding the football. Probably you heard about Luka Modric and other players. In the last World Cup in Russia, we were second. We were vice champion of the European Cup, and I'm pretty much looking forward how we gonna play this year. This year the championship will start for a few days, and I hope so that we will be good in that championship. Next slide. After that, I will talk you a little bit about my university. My university was established in 1969, in the 17th century. And from that time, we are teaching without any stop. That means that we are teaching more than 350 years. And we are almost the oldest university in Europe. And we are 100% we are the oldest university in Southeastern Europe. We are also the largest university in Southeastern Europe. We have totally 34 faculties. We have more than 75,000 students, domestic and international, and we have approximately 5,000 professors who are teaching at University of Zagreb. It is not possible to find any area of the science that we don't have it at my university. And my university, it is not campus university, it is city university. That means when you need to travel between the faculties are all over the city, but also it is a nice opportunity to explore the city and to see our cultural heritage and other things. Next slide, please. It is a little bit about myself. You already heard that I start my career in the military. After that, my second job, I was head of the National Crisis Center. My third job, I was independent police inspector. After that, I was head of the civil protection service in my country. I was commander of that service. I have a lot of experience regarding the floods, forest fires, Mikac crisis 2015. And from 2015, on the end of the year, I joined my faculty. I'm pretty much satisfied with academic way of life. Next slide, please. From the last time when I visit you here, then I had just 3 books what I published, but until now it is 7 of them. And on this slide you can see the 6 of them. I start with 2008 with Afghanistan, and I finished in this year my 7th book. Can you give me a next slide? Next slide, please. In this slide, it is the book what is published this year. It is published by Routledge, the global leader in publishing of the scientific books. And my books are published, of course, on Croatian language, on English language, and on the Macedonian language. So means on 3 languages. And maybe, who knows, maybe in the future, maybe one of the books will be on Bahasa. Next slide, please. It is a content of my today presentation. I will talk very little about introduction. I will mainly talk about the COVID, what COVID take some consequences to us. Then I will forward for 3 main subjects, and I dedicate just 3 slides to each of them. Development of education in post-COVID area in Europe. After that, 3 slides regarding to the economy and how in European Union we see that we will build our economy to be better, to be more advanced, and to be more, efficient. And I will talk about development of technology. And you will see that all 3 things are totally intercepted and interconnected. That means that we cannot talk about education without technology. We cannot talk about technology without economy, and vice versa. Then I will have something instead of conclusion. I will not have conclusion, because today I want to present you some ideas in what direction in Europe we will take policy regarding to education, technology, and economy. Because of that, I will have something instead of the conclusion, and like our moderator said, we will have an answer and question part. Next slide, please. Regarding to introduction, it is also what I want to tell, and it is also connected with our today's topics. It is my pleasure to have also cooperation with the researchers from Indonesia. Until now, I published a book chapter with Professor Ari. I published 1 article with your professor, my dear friend Yudi, your vice rector. And also my 3rd article, it was published very recently in October this year. It was analysis on the response to COVID-19 pandemic between Indonesia, Mexico, and Croatia. And we want to analyze how the national system was adapted to new reality. And from that article, I will take some of the data for today's lecture. Next slide, please. Regarding to the COVID-19, definitely it was the global crisis with numerous disruption in each of the businesses all over the world, especially in education. And also the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic are extremely high when we talk about the human losses in each of country all over the world. Next slide, please. You can see on that death chart that all over the world, many countries suffered pretty much a lot from the human cost regarding to the people who died regarding to the COVID-19. But also you can notice that for some countries we don't have data, and because of that it is very challenging how to analyze the situation and how to analyze what can need to be developed in some countries after the pandemic if we don't have the data, and it is especially challenging for us who are researchers. Next slide, please. On this slide, and you will notice that on previous slide, on this slide I have pretty much fresh data. It started on the March 2020 when the pandemic started, and I took last night the new data. It is just 2 days old, and from the November 15, and you can notice that regarding to the official number of the dead people all over the world, right now we have more than 6 million people who died regarding to COVID-19. But the question is, do we have accurate number? We will see on the next slide. Next slide, please. On next slide, and the source is that it is the economists. The economists believe that we don't have the right numbers. The official numbers is that we have approximately 6.5 million people who died regarding the COVID-19, but estimated numbers are approximately 30 million people who died regarding the COVID-19. So that means that disease has pretty much affected everybody all over the world. Next slide, please. Regarding to the business, technology, processes, economy, it is, you can see on the slide that it is no way that we can estimate how COVID-19 affect and how much produce the costs, damages all over the world. But of course we need to try to estimate something. So I take the data from the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and they estimate that just for 2 years, for 2020 and 2021, the smash of the COVID was more than 8.5 trillion United States dollars. Next slide, please. And also on that slide you can see that also COVID affected different areas, especially what is our primary concern, it is education. You can see that COVID put out of education 1.6 billion students. That means a lot of students was affected because of that pandemic. And also when you talk about climate change, about poverty, you can see the numbers, or you can see the figures, how the pandemic affect the countries all over the world. Next slide. And with that we will finish the introduction, and right now we will start with three slides regarding the development of education. Regarding to development of education in EU, it is what we also heard from the Vice Rector in the introductory speech. The pandemic, it is also opportunity to change something, and also we are pretty much aware of that in the European Union. You can see the document from European Commission regarding the future of European universities. And in that document, it is written that many EU countries recognize that COVID-19 pandemic, of course, it was catastrophic, but also it was opportunity for change something. And the countries increase fundings regarding to our education. And I also noticed that in my country, because of that, I have opportunity to be here because my government allow me to pay the plane ticket to travel, to exchange knowledge and different things. Also, the universities in all over the Europe recognize opportunity that they need, and they have opportunity to exchange and to widen their strategic collaboration regarding the following topics: regarding to lifelong online learning, regarding the pooling talent globally around the specific themes, and to develop pan-European learning and innovation platforms in collaboration with industry. That means that education and economy and education need to work together. Next slide, please. On this slide, it is one research is published in one of the very good journals, and it also have Oxford mark. That in that research, you can see that authors find out that pandemic opened windows of opportunity for the governments to change the educational policies and include it and connect it with other sectors what we have in our countries. Also, it was recognized that national authorities need, and they did that, they increase the funding for research and development, and it is very important. And also policy responses to the COVID-19 have been mainly articulated around three main policies. It is about digitalization. It is about that we need to do something, and we need to create the equality between the educational possibilities, and also try to develop the teachers' development, that teachers need to learn new things to also widen their perspective and try to share to be better teachers for our students. The next slide, please. And also with one document from the European Union, you can see that, and later I will also mention the New Generation EU program. With that New Generation EU program, European Union will invest a lot of money regarding to the investments in education, and it will be game changer regarding to reforms. Right now it is good time to make the reforms. Also, on the level between the states and European Union, it is obvious that we need to change many things regarding to education, and because of that it was decided that we will change education to promote education on evidence-based informed research and approach, so to have more applicable science and more results can be applicable to the businesses, and that we need also to take care that our university, especially public universities, need to be more open, and they need to be more proactive regarding to gain the funds, from different sources. Next slide, please. Right now we will go to the development of economy in post-pandemic era. In this respect, I can tell once again from the EU document that European Union is very strong regarding that we need to change many things, especially in Europe, and then to help the countries all over the world also to try to change the situation in their countries. First of all, it is European Green Deal. We will try to be the lower carbon continent, that we will be until 2050 to be climate neutral continent, and to have as much as possible clean energy. So mean without coal, to use the power engines, to use the water engines and these kind of things. Also, it is connected with digital transformation. About digital transformation, I will talk also in next slides. And it is very important for us to ensure the speedy, balanced rollout connectivity technologies through all of the Europe. And you will see what is the figures, what we want to achieve in Europe regarding to that. And also it is very important to talk about the job and the skills, because in the Europe we miss job opportunity, we miss the people who want to work some jobs. So that means that we need to educate, to provide them the additional skills or provide them new skills. And because of that, also it will be one of the pillars when we talk about economy of the Europe, that we need to invest much more in education. So through education, we will get the qualified personnel for the businesses. Next slide, please. Regarding the additional document, it is document from European Investment Bank. From European Investment Bank, they see that COVID-19 it is opportunity for digital transformation, definitely. Digital transformation, we see that it is virtually affected every industry and every businesses inside of the Europe. So it is not possible to have the businesses in Europe that you are not online, that you don't have some kind of the possibility to exchange your ideas, your products without with other customers, without digital platforms. So we need to pursue with the development of new digital technologies, and the governments will give, and governments in the previous time give big support for this game changer to invest much more in the technology and much more in digitalization. Next slide, please. And you can see the numbers on that slide are pretty much enormous high regarding how much European Union will invest in a changing situation in Europe, in economy, in technology, and also in education. We planned a new Marshall Plan for Europe, but right now it will be not Marshall Plan from United States. It will be Marshall Plan from inside, and European Union plan to invest in next period 2.something trillions, not billions, trillions euros in the rebuilding post-COVID-19 Europe. That can mean that many businesses will have opportunity to get the money for investments, to gain the new technologies, to gain new jobs, new skills, and we are looking forward for that. Next slide, please. And next slide is regarding the development of technology. In Europe right now, what we have from last year, we have from European Commission, we have Digital Compass for EU, and with 4 main pillars, and it's called Digital Compass because it looks like a compass. It is regarding to the government change, regarding the skills, regarding to improved infrastructure, and of course regarding to the businesses. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see what is the main topics from these 4 pillars, and what we want to achieve regarding to the skills, digital transformation, digitalization, and secure and sustainable digital infrastructure. The numbers are pretty much high. It will be very hard to get to them, but it is very ambitious plan, and you notice that it will be invested more than 2 trillion European euros, and in all these processes. So we strongly believe in next 10 years, Europe will be changed a lot. When you next time visit Europe, you will see many, many differences from the past. Next slide, please. And finally, with that, I will finish my this part regarding to technology. Focus for the future, it is that we need to be digitalized, that we need to use advanced technologies, that we need to use Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cloud system, and these kind of things. And it will be impossible for the future to be educated, to teach, to have the business or to make the business without this kind of new technologies, what will be very soon developed or still it is developed inside of the Europe. So next slide, please. With that, instead of conclusion, I want to connect European Union and Indonesia. With the left-hand side, I want to tell that European Union in Indonesia have very strong relations. They have annual summits, and the relation between European Union and Indonesia are pretty much strong. They are rooted in shared values, and they are strengthening by our common interests. It is very important to know. And on the other hand, on the right side of the slide, you can notice that we have opportunity to build the future together. So Indonesia is the first Asian country to have concluded partnership and cooperation agreement with European Union, which govern our mutual relations and cooperation. And this is also part of the cooperation, this academic exchange between your university, my university, and I'm looking forward to see what future will bring to us. And we are the people who make the future. We have possibility to have and to make the changes. Next slide, please. With that slide, of course, I will ask you for your questions. And my final slide. Next slide, please. Terima kasih banyak. It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, okay. It's very fast, right? Give it up one more time for Dr. Robert Mikac. There are more than 20 slides there, right? There are more than 20 slides, but he just finished it like in the blink of an eye. Well, while we have like 30 for 40 minutes to do presentation. Okay, that's very incredible presentations that we have just now with Dr. Mikac relates to how the European Union, especially the Croatia, is facing or creating solution to overcome the challenge right after the pandemic, right, Doctor? Now, I'm going to welcome every one of you, three questioners first. So there will be like 2 sessions here. So there will be 3 questioners will be asked directly to Dr. Robert Mikac. You are please mention your name. Don't forget. Jangan lupa untuk sebutin namanya, dari jurusan mana dan pertanyaannya. Don't worry. If you have an obstacle to say it in English, I will translate it into English. No problem. Jika kalian kesulitan untuk menyampaikannya dalam bahasa Inggris, you may actually ask in Bahasa, and I will translate it to Dr. Roberts. Now, your turns to give a question. Yes. Okay, that young boy wearing. Dr. Mikac, we have a student from PMM, Pertukaran Mahasiswa. So Teknokrat today is a house for 103 students from around Indonesia. So there are around 103 students come to Indonesia, the largest university in Sumatra and Indonesia, who welcome the exchange student. Give it up for Teknokrat University. So this is one of the students going to give a question to Dr. Mikac. Now you are pleased.
Thank you for the chance. Before I ask my question, let me introduce myself. My name is Eki Anggawi. You can call me Eki. I'm from STI Malang Kuceswala, Malang.
Eki, right?
Right.
Eki, from Malang, from East Java.
Yes. So in your slide, you explain the development of education, economy, and technology, and give the example of rich countries, and they have many model to develop education, economy, and technology in post-pandemic. So, what happened about the development of education, economy, and technology in developing country or poor country in the post countries? Thank you.
Okay, directly, probably Dr. Robert. How actually, if for European Union seems very easy because most of the European Unions are rich and developed nation, hopefully yes. So how how the poor and developing country in responding the post-pandemic? Probably we hold that question first, I guess, right? Now we will invite for a second questioner. Yes, you are, please.
Okay, thank you so much for the time. Let me introduce myself. I am Teresa Alicia. Many people call me Estere. I am from Central Java. Okay, so as we know about COVID-19 variant cases predicted to peak in Jakarta November until December. I mean, it increased for these 2 months later. And as we know that after pandemic period, and there will be many changes in education, economy, and technology. However, because of that, what are the biggest issues that arise from technology based from of education?
What are the biggest issue?
What are the biggest issue that arise from technology based from education?
That arise in technology on educational aspect after the COVID pandemic. Is that one
Yes.
question?
That's true.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
What are the biggest issues on academic aspect in terms of technology? Okay, next, last in this term. Last questioners in this sessions, you may raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yeah. Man there, raise your hand. Okay, you may please.
Permission to introduce myself. My name is Faza.
Sorry, Faza?
Faza.
Faza, okay.
Yeah. Student Merdeka Exchange. Mr. Robert had explained to PowerPoint at the development technology. There are 4 factors. One of them is skills. My question is, what's especially its priority to skill at the development technology? Jadi priority skills to development technology. What is the specially?
Sorry, the priority of skills?
Priority skills. What priority skills to development technology?
In development technology.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Faza.
Sama-sama.
Dr. Robert, we have 3 questions at the first sessions. The first question is it's an issues in this global, it's always, the economy is always a global discussion. And how's actually, developing countries and poor countries actually face or, recover themselves from, especially in economic aspects.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all 3 questions. They are all great, and I will try to answer as much as possible and as much as good on your questions. Regarding the first question, how the poor or developed countries can be improve their possibility to educate the people because everything have their own price and because they don't have so much money to develop some resources and some facilities. I will tell you one case study, and my university is included in that. It is regarding to make the virtual European universities. That mean that we will have university on the online between different. Right now, my university is part of the project, and it is 8 European university inside of that project. And in virtual space, we made curriculums, we exchanged the knowledge, we give the lectures. So I mean that, like what we have and what was talked about, metaverse, we have some kind of the meta world inside of the cyberspace in which we exchange the knowledge, we exchange the curriculum, we try to teach our students. It is just on the beginning, but it is something what don't ask money for the buildings, don't ask money for the traveling, for accommodation, etc. So today technology, it is not so expensive. Today technology, it is pretty much cheap. So many countries all over the world, for example, from Africa, Latin America, or other parts of the world who are poorer than European Union, can get these kind of ideas and try to develop also these kind of solutions who don't invest millions or billions of dollars in these kind of projects. And on that way, of course, they will improve the teaching materials, they will improve, knowledge of the teachers, they will improve the possibility that students will get the contacts in different countries and on this kind of way. So I think with that example, and it is example what is right now implemented in Europe, my university is part of that project when we try to develop the virtual university. So it is something what the universities in poorer countries also can do. It is not just a question of the money, it is just a question of ideas and how we can implement our ideas in the life. So thank you for the first question.
Thank you very much. Eki, that's the answers. Actually, what I get from Dr. Robert is that collaborations with, the poor countries or developing countries with the developed countries. Like, for instance, Sri Lanka, who have problems in economic back then in the beginning of 2020, and they can call cooperations in investing on education and technology developments there.
And I will also add, for example, I know for European Union invest a lot of funds and collaboration, for example, with ASEAN countries, with a Latin American country, with African countries, and also many of these funds go to the education. So that means that universities in areas who have collaboration with European Union need to research, on the way, because European Union try to be very open, very transparent regarding to everything what it is done, and especially regarding to the money. So everybody have possibility to find the field what is their interest. So contact the representative of European Union and try to establish mutual cooperation. It's happened all over the world every day.
Okay. I hope Eki understand. Eki, do you get? Hopefully yes. So the cooperation and collaboration, investments for developed countries become one of the solution, especially for a developing country. Thank you very much, Eki. Now, Dr. Robert, we have the second question from Teresa. She said that what is actually the biggest issues on the economic aspects in development of technology?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Also, a great question. It will be very hard to answer on that because it is many factors who are affected at this subject. So regarding to investment in technology, of course, also when we talk about European Union like organization, you know that inside of the European Union we have 27 member states. Some of them are more advanced and some of them have much more also manpower and also resources. So it will be much easier to do business, for example, in France or Germany, to, on the other hand, for example, in Bulgaria and Romania, who are much poorer country. So the challenges for the investments or economics regarding to the technology, it is, do we have enough idea? Do we have connectivity? Do we share the knowledge? And how we can develop the joint systems with mutual understanding and with mutual effort to be, improved in all way of our societies. So, of course, that we will have all the time the countries who will be richer and they can invest much more in technology, in development of technology. But what is the beauty of European Union? European Union want to have the equality between the countries, equality between the people, and also equality between the opportunities of each of us to gain, our needs, our necessity on the open market and also regarding to education and regarding the public. So once again, it is very hard, it is not easy, it have many challenges but also have many opportunities how we can improve situation regarding the economy to the technology. Thanks.
Okay, Teresa, I hope you actually get what Dr. Robert, where is Teresa? Okay, do you get the answers? Okay, so there's a lot of challenge. Technology is something that is always development and improve all the times. Okay. Now the last questioner is from Vaza. What is the priority skills in the development of technology?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, we miss the teachers who can teach about the new technologies. Definitely we miss them because of course, the technology are developed much faster than our knowledge about technology can follow it. So, first of all, we miss the teachers who at our universities teach about the new technologies. The second one, we miss understanding about the policy development, because once again, the technology go much faster, especially it is, like example, we can take the cyberspace. In cyberspace we have everything, but it is not so well regulated. Because of that, second pillar, what is very important, it is policy dimension. And third one, it is also the skills of the personnel who will work on these new technologies. First of all, we miss the teachers, we miss instructors, and of course we miss the personnel who need to be teach for the new jobs of the future. So in front of us are big challenges, but in Europe we have planned how to deal with that. On the slide you can see in the previous slides, you can show the numbers that we have the big plan that during the 2030 everybody and everything need to be on the web, that we need to have more than 80% of the people who live in Europe educate with the digital skills, that the digital services until 2030 need to be 100% online. So that means it is a lot of effort and a lot of job in front of us. So we miss the people who will educate, the people who will write the policy, strategies, documents, and laws, and finally we miss the personnel who will deal with these technologies in the future. But we have idea how gonna get that, and one of idea is also to educate our people, and the second idea is also to try attract the best and the brightest people all over the world to come to Europe and to be part European citizens and to live and to have life in Europe. Thanks.
So actually, Faza, the key of having this, obviously having a human resources who are comparable and ready to apply digitalizations. And it starts from the teachers, the instructors, and the policy from the governments, and etc. Thank you very much, Dr. Robert. Give it up for the first session. I hope Faza got the answers, right? I hope, hopefully. And then now we are actually opening the second session of Q&A session. I would like to invite 3 more questioners to give their questions to Dr. Robert. You may raise your hand and tell your name and where you come from or your study program. And you can directly say, if you have obstacles, you can say in Bahasa and I will translate it in English. Okay, silakan. Next questioner. Okay, Dr. Robert, I actually also personally have a question to you, because all of the, I don't know, when I saw your presentation, I thought that the key word on the solution for European Unions and the education challenge after the pandemic is the digitalization, right? The challenge of today's is, you also mentioned that human resources, especially teachers and instructors, needed to be, to have that skills. Do you think that the developing countries are ready to, digitalize for after the post-pandemic?
Thank you very much on that. My answer is yes, because it is not something that what we start from this year. Europe, it is the smallest continent, but it is the most digitalized continent all over the world. And also when we talk about, for example, 5G technology, the market with the most value, it is inside of the Europe. So that means that Europe, it is pretty much advanced regarding to the technology about digitalization and everything else. What is the challenge for the Europe? We miss the people, we miss the opportunity. We are aging, we have an older population, so we miss the young, powerful people who want to research, who want to learn. It is the challenge for the Europe. And because of that, it is additional value that we go for the digitalization, because we miss the people who will work on everyday services. So Europe will try to transfer as much as possible everyday services to cyberspace, so it will be accessible, especially for the older people, especially from the people who live in a rural area, to have equal opportunity with other people. So because of that, it is additional reason why in Europe we are so much keen to have digitalization like our priority.
Do you think that actually a country like Indonesia could survive on digitalization? I mean, are we ready in your perspective?
I strongly believe, because what I notice, especially in your university all over Indonesia, and it is my third time, you have more than 270 million inhabitants, you have pretty much young population, you have more than 4,000 universities, you have pretty much young personnel, young people who want and who love to learn, and because of that, I strongly believe that you have a very bright future. I know that World Bank predict that Indonesia until 2050 will be maybe the 5th economy of the world. That means that your country will have big progress in the next couple of years, next couple of decades. And I'm looking forward. I will be returning back, and I will look on that. You know.
Oh, hopefully. Thank you very much. Okay, now I will invite for second sessions of the Q&A sessions for all the students. You may raise your hand, introduce yourself. Silakan memberikan pertanyaan. Raise your hand. Silakan. Second session. Okay. A girls in the corner. Silakan.
Good afternoon, sir. Before I have a question, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Triadesi Sharifah. I came from a university in Purwokerto named Jenderal Sudirman University, and I am from Pekalongan, Central Java. I have a question for you. As you know, the pandemic era affects not only in the economic condition, but also our educational condition. And the pandemic forces people to conduct online learning, such as using Zoom, Google Meeting, and online platform for the lecture. And do you have obstacles holding the online class, dealing with the technology, especially to keep in touch with the students? Thank you so much.
Do you have an obstacle? Your question is the obstacle using the technological application?
Yes.
During
online,
lecturing?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. What's your name again? Sharifah?
Desi.
Desi. Okay, thank you very much, Desi. Okay, I have to recall the name because she has quite good English, right? Yes. Okay, next questioner. I open the second questioner. Second question. Also, the lecturers may give a question too. If you have something to ask, I think you can have a fruitful discussions. You may actually directly give a question to Dr. Robert. But before that, I invite student one more time. Student, raise your hands if you give a question. Yeah, our student is actually formulating question, I guess. Now we go to the question from Daisy. Do you have any obstacles in applying technological applications during your lecture?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It is also a great question. I look on the two sides of that question. Also, new technology like Zoom application provide us opportunity to have the lectures when we are not in our capital city, and it is good size. Sometimes I travel to seaside, look on the sea, and in the afternoon I give the lecture to my students. I like it from that side. But what I missed from the using the new technology like Zoom, it is not, what is most important between the students and the teacher. It is that personal touch that we can, to see each other, that we can discuss, because when we're using the Zoom, everything is, so much, through the window. Somebody give the lecture on the other side. I don't know if the students are listening. After that, when we have the question answer part, they are afraid to make the question. We are not used to use the chat option and these kind of things. So This kind of application provide us some benefits, definitely, but on the other hand, they also have some disadvantages, and disadvantages is that the quality of the teaching, it is not on the same level like in person when we have our students in our room, and of course, on that time we are much more exposed to the students' question. We can answer them also regarding to what was the subject of the lecture, and also some other things what is for the students, what is for them important. So once again, thank you for a question, and the answer is yes, technology give us some opportunities, but also we cannot 100% be sure that we will supplement our teaching experience with technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One more time. Thank you very much. Give it up for Dr. Robert for today. Well, I have a few personal questions actually. I hope you don't mind. And it's quite out on the perspective of education. I would want to, because it's related to my writings. So in your opinion, in your perspective, what is actually a direct impact of Ukrainian war to the development of education and technology in your country, Croatia, for example, and the world?
Yeah. Thank you very much. In Europe, it is a huge subject. Every day we talk just about that. Other subjects regarding climate change and human rights are not so much important, because all of us in Europe, we are pretty much affected with the war in Ukraine. In each of the country in Europe, they accept a huge number of Ukrainian refugees. And what that brings to us? That brings to us that we need to adjust our educational system. We need to involve the children, the students from the Ukraine in our national educational system. And it is good for us, because with that we will develop our skills, we will develop our views, we will develop additional language skills. Because of that, we also want to learn basic of the Ukrainians and these kind of things. So on the other hand, in one hand, it is a very, very bad thing, and it is the disaster what is happening right now in Ukraine. And on the other hand, regarding the educational system in all EU countries, it is something what is beneficial for us, because we get the new knowledge, new opportunities to talk, to see the new developments, and also to discuss new topics, what is very important for us, and also try to involve the foreign students in our educational system. You know that all over Europe we have the Bologna system, we have Erasmus projects and like that, and with these projects, inside of these projects, it is enough funds that we have opportunity to accommodate the students from Ukraine to study, to learn the domestic languages, and also try to finish the faculties in our countries.
Oh, give it up one more time for Dr. Robert for the questions and for the answers. Tepuk tangan lo sekali lagi. Yeah. You know what? Yes, it's always been a fruitful discussions having incredible people today. And like we have today, Dr. Robert is here with us and share knowledge about how we developed. Well, what I get from Dr. Robert just now is that investing on education through digitalization and technology is become the solution for us, humanities, for the world, and for everybody who are actually impacted by the pandemic of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give a big applause for Dr. Robert. Okay. The pandemic COVID-19 have changed the world perspective. It's triggered many developments. One of them is in technology. Technology of today believe a solution to overcome challenge in every aspect of human life. That is actually the conclusion for today. And have a great day. We please give a big applause one more time for Dr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D. from Zagreb University, our lectures today. And this session is closed, and it is closing our meeting for today. I'm Muhammad Fitratullah. Signing off. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, as a moderator, and also, of course, thank you to Mr. Robert as the speaker for being with us today to deliver about the lecture about the development of education, economy, and technology in post-pandemic era.
Well, the next is giving token of appreciations from Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia to Zagreb University. To Bapak Dr. Haji Mahathir Mohamad SAMM and Mr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D., you are pleased. For all students who already give questions before, please be ready and you can join the photo sessions with our speakers, Mr. Robert.
Alright, once again, for those who already asked questions, you may come forward, you may come to the stage to take a picture together.
Okay, and then we are invite Dr. Ari and Mr. Celestio MA to come in front and accept the souvenir from Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia.
And once again, we would like to invite Dr. Ari and also Bapak Sulistio.
Please come in front and accept the souvenir from Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. And to Mr. Yudi, you are pleased.
All right.
Next is
Alright, this is the end of the international guest lecture. We close this event by saying Alhamdulillah.
well, all the participants, you are pleased to proceed the event. There will be planting trees by Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia and University of Zagreb. And you are pleased to go to at Teknokrat Park. Untuk seluruh mahasiswa PMM dan juga mahasiswa Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, dimohon untuk melanjutkan acara dan kalian dipersilakan untuk menuju Teknokrat Park. Well, to Mr. Robert Mikac, Ph.D. and Dr. Ari Damasutu MA and Dr. Haji Mahathir Mohamad SAMM, you are pleased.